of my group, constantly posting about Dylan, trying to help you guys from whatever we can do. And I've had so many people inboxing me questions, and that's why I reached out to see if you would do a video for us and like just answer some of their questions and whatnot.
Definitely.
So first off, I'm sorry for what you're going through. As a parent, I could never imagine not having answers of what's going on.
There are no words
Just giving a
for it.
couple. Sorry.
I said there's no words for it. It's a rough go.
Yeah, your do you have your volume right up there?
Do I? I think so.
Hey Joanne, hey Patience, hey Lisa, hey everyone. Everyone's just coming in. I did start earlier, but
That's my
I was
buddy,
on
the
my laptop and
180
it wouldn't
pound
let me
bull
out.
mastiff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to start right off the hop, just because I'm already late. My bad, sorry. So Dylan went missing May the 6th. That's right, of 2020?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So I do want to get this straight with a lot of people, and I do want you to correct me if I'm wrong. So a lot of people have been saying a lot of things. I've done a lot of research on everything that's going on. So you actually didn't see and you weren't around Dylan at all, because the last time you physically had seen Dylan was on May the 4th, 2020. Is that right?
Yes, because me and his mom had a no contact order, so I was at my mom's. And at
Okay.
the time of my son's disappearance, I was talking to victim services.
Okay. So 2 days, I just want to recap that for everyone. So Dylan went missing on May the 6th. There was a no contact order between Dylan's mom and Jason. So Jason actually physically didn't see Dylan for the last time he had seen him was on May the 2nd. So 2 days before Dylan went missing.
Not often.
Um, so I have a couple questions of myself. So I watched one video that you did make, and I'm wondering why it took so long for the police and everyone and yourself and Ashley as to even that Dylan was missing.
Yeah. Just one sec. Get down. Stop. This dog's getting hyper. He's a big guy.
Yeah.
Um, Settle down. So what was your question again? Sorry.
So my question is I'm just wondering if you've ever found out of why. So said you were saying that you and your mom were going to see Dylan and you didn't even know he was missing.
No.
And then Ashley was at her friend's house, and her dad went to get her like however long after Dylan has was missing. So I'm just wondering, did you ever find out why the grandmother never notified you, Ashley, or the police right away when Dylan went missing?
So, with Ashley, she was using text now because she got a new phone, didn't have minutes because I broke her phone that day of the no contact order. For her not messaging me, I have no idea. She could have. The first
Okay.
person she reached out to was Norman Brown.
Yeah, because I actually had a
And
viewer
then
asking that.
and then the police were 911 was called by a nearby neighbor. So I don't know why she didn't. She had asked the neighbor to call 911. So I guess
Okay.
that's what happened.
Okay. So I do have someone that sent me a question about what his name's Norman, of why the grandmother would call him like Norman before call like my instinct, and I'm sure like even your instinct, if Dylan would have been with you, like your first call would have been 911. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe whatever, but I've had a lot of people message me and ask me to ask you of why the call went to Norman before the actual police. Do you know that or?
I don't know exactly why. Maybe she was scared. Maybe I have no idea, to be honest. I don't trust the woman as far as I can throw it, so I'm not really sure why, to be all honest.
Okay.
I can't make sense of a lot of things she did, so
Okay. So another question. So this is actually my question. I don't know if you would know the answer, but I am gonna ask it. So I did watch a lot of things with the police recapping with the grandmother of her tying the dog up, and every time they did that with her, the longest was only 18 seconds it took. So the backyard, um, the backyard to where Dylan went missing in 18 seconds, is that like a big gap?
the yard's not very big. The 18 seconds came from the Truro police. So
Okay.
they reenacted everything, and I think it's kind of funny because how does a full grown adult reenact how fast a child is? So like I don't even get where they got the numbers from.
Yeah. So it said that they reenacted with the grandmother because they were questioning like the time.
Yeah.
Because when she was tying up the dog, it actually was only taking her like 18 seconds. So, um,
So the
yeah,
original story I got from the grandmother is she had Dylan in one hand, the puppy in the other hand. She went down to the stairs. Dylan was a foot to 2 feet away. She turned around to tie the dog, and Dylan was gone. So I don't even know how that's possible, but that's the story.
yeah. Um, so I got a lot of questions about his boots.
Yeah.
So I do want to cover this. Dylan's boots were found.
Norman Brown is Ashley's father, Dylan's grandfather. I just seen a question. Sorry.
Yeah. So there's somebody say no, Christine. What Jason was saying was Ashley's phone was broken because of the altercation that they had before. So the phone did get broke. So she was only using WhatsApp app. So you do need to have Wi-Fi and
Well,
whatnot for that. That's what he was
text
saying.
now, same thing. What's up
Text
now?
now,
Yeah,
yeah,
same
yeah,
thing though.
yeah. So one thing I do want to cover, what
I said
really,
Ashley's phone was broken. She got a new phone. She didn't have minutes. That's what I said.
yeah.
So don't put words in my mouth. Thank you.
So it's actually Ashley's mom. It's the biological grandmother. So Ashley, who is the mother, that's who had Dylan. Sorry, I'm just answering some questions. So the boots, can we get on to the boots? A lot of people want to know about the boots.
Sure.
It was what day was it that the original pair of boots were found?
At around 7 p.m. the night he went missing in a brook. They were both submerged underwater. The first one was in a shopping cart. That shopping cart was kind of in a hole that was caused by erosion, and the boot was inside the cart underwater. The second one was um, close to the mouth of the brook, to the mouth of the river, so it was also submerged. I think it was RCMP search and rescue dive team that found them.
Okay. Was anybody, like any of the family member, actually in that area before the boots were found, or no?
Um, at that point, where because there was such a big delay on the police doing their job, I remember there was family member there. My sister was there, my other sister, my mom, my brother started searching. I think my brother searched for 3 or 4 days straight without sleep. So yeah, family was starting to slowly appear, but the cops weren't stopping anyone from searching, and I think that was a
Yeah.
big issue because they didn't they didn't contain the area.
Now with the boots, I had seen in one of your videos where you said because he had gotten those for Easter and you hadn't even seen them.
I would have
Um,
seen them, but like as a father, I didn't take note to his boots. I guess they were
Yeah,
new. Like
yeah,
I just I was
okay,
working all the time, so I just didn't take note.
okay. So I seen the video that you recently posted on your YouTube, about now it's come forth that those actually weren't Dylan's boots, or
So
the grandmother didn't.
so what happened is so I was talking to Ashley, and apparently she was going through a home video. I don't know if someone else came across it first. It's not really, that's not irrelevant really. Who cares who came across it? But she was going through a home video, and she seen Dylan's boots, and realized she made the biggest mistake of her life. So she went. When was that? It was a few months ago anyway. She went and had a meeting with the Truro police. Her father was there. I wasn't. I was in New Brunswick. And she told the Truro police that she made the biggest mistake of her life, that she identified the boots wrong, um,
Okay,
while crying. And, she also said that she has to live with that mistake the rest of her life, knowing that that's a 4-year delay, right? So that tickles, knowing
yeah.
that you were the cause of it. So.
So with the boots, do you know if the police ever did like DNA testing on them or anything?
Um, they wouldn't even fingerprint them. So what I did behind their back, we eventually got the boots back from them, and I got Gilles Blinn. He's a retired RCMP officer from New Brunswick. He's solved cases that were 50 years old. He's changed. He's changed a lot of things in New Brunswick, like some of the alert systems and stuff like that. So he's a really smart guy, and his son's also a cop. And they took
Oh,
the
okay.
boots and they fingerprinted them, and it took 10 minutes. So it wasn't like he couldn't understand why the Truro police just wouldn't do it, because for all it takes, just to take that off the family's mind. Like, why not just do it? Nothing was on them.
Yeah, it's really weird that they wouldn't fingerprint those boots
Yeah, and
because
where they were submerged underwater, it's a tough call after that, right?
yeah, yeah. So another thing, coming into the first couple of days, I've heard many statements about the grandmother, up all night playing video games, whatnot.
That was me.
Now, pardon?
That was me that said
Is
that.
is that true that she was,
Oh
or
yeah. Oh, that's very true. So I stayed up that whole night. I remember. I'll just tell you that night. So it was the first night he went missing. I watched Ashley cry herself to sleep, literally cry herself to sleep, and then I remember just looking out the window, and I remember looking back at the grandmother, and she was playing. I don't know if it was Candy Crush or one of them games on Facebook, and it was an all night thing. I remember I stared out the window a long time, and at around 2:30, I snuck out and went searching. And then I was made by a police officer to go back home because, as they would say, if we need you for viable information and you're out searching, that's just, that's killing time, right? They need to be able to find you when they need you. So, and due to shock and everything else, I'm no good for Dylan being out there. So I
yeah,
made it to
yeah,
the command center in the ball field, and then that's when the cops were like, "Get your ass back home."
yeah.
Then I went
Um,
back home, and the grandmother was still playing her video games. I sat at the window right till morning. I just looked out the window, and she played that game all fucking night, right to the morning. So I've talked to psychologists and stuff like that, like on my own mental health, and I've asked the question, you know, can someone play a video game after losing their grandchild? And that's most of them say like absolutely not. Like, how do you focus on something like that? So.
yeah. I just also find it very concerning that you and Ashley, as the parents,
She was very
not
different
being
that day.
notified right away, like, yeah,
Exactly. She was very different that day. I remember the next day my friend showed up and he was looking for me and he seen the grandmother on top of the stairs of the back steps. And he even wrote a statement to the police, but he said that when I asked to speak to Jason and where he was at, the grandmother stated that he's upstairs with Ashley. He should be out looking for his kid. I thought that was very, very, very wrong to say. She was
yeah,
very rude to my mom. She was rude to most of my family members, like get the fuck off my property, and just
yeah.
flat out ignorant.
See, and the thing too is like it's when it's a this is a 3-year-old boy. You
Yeah,
know what? What went on with you and Ashley, what went on with you and her mom or your any of the families, you know what? That none of that matters. You know what? This 3-year-old boy went missing. He's still missing. How many years later?
yeah, that's
Um,
what I said. So when I first showed up, I didn't know he was missing. There was a woman police officer standing in the driveway, and so I got out of the car, and the officer was like, um, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "I'm Jason Nealer. I'm here to pick up my son." And then they were like, "Are you Dylan Nealer's father?" I was like, "Yes." And then they said, "Your son's missing." And fuck, I uh, I hit the ground. I fucking hit the ground, bawling my eyes out. It was devastating. And then it was just a fucking blur after that. Um, you know,
yeah,
he was
I
already
couldn't
missing for
imagine.
he was already missing for 3 hours at that point. So
See, and this is a big
and then it's crazy because there was only one cop there after 3 hours, and then first thing out of my mouth is where's Canine, and they weren't there yet, and just nothing was happening. Just one cop standing around doing nothing. Like 3 hours has gone by, and you guys have done nothing. It's. And then I started
see
searching houses.
the thing is about that too, though, is it makes me wonder what time did the actual police call go into the police department?
They were
It's
notified. They were notified within 4 minutes, apparently. If you watch W5 News with Avery Haynes, she explains the delays and the mistakes.
yeah.
We fought the cops in court and they broke a lot of protocols. So I'm just going to give you guys an example. So Sergeant Hunka, Truro Police, he was IC of the search. He was first on scene. So he should have been the cop that made all the hard decisions, called in all resources. But there was a delay because the chief and deputy chief took control from him, and that's breaking protocol. That they broke their own protocol, and that's just an example on how they broke it. They wasted time by taking control of the situation instead of letting that cop do his job. Example. There's many
Okay.
protocols they broke, but that's just one.
Okay. So 4 minutes to call the police, but she called Norman before she called the police,
She didn't call the
right?
police, so she called Norman, and then I think Dorothy screamed to the neighbor, called 911, and the nearby neighbor called 911. And
I'm
then
sorry,
when
my bad. You said that.
yes, and then there was two other neighbors that heard her scream, and they ran right to the brook right away. And there was no Dylan at the brook at that time, and that's within 10 minutes of him being missing. So if in
It's,
fact she's telling the truth, he would have been only missing for a very very short period of time. But if she's lying, then who knows, right? So
so that day that he went missing, did anyone physically see Dylan?
no,
Like, did neighbors, friends, family, like who seen Dylan the day he went missing?
I don't think anybody did.
Because I
I
seen
think
a thing where it
maybe
said
I think
Ashley had
somebody
dropped.
seen I think somebody one of the neighbors seen Ashley pull in, but they doesn't mean Dylan wasn't there. They weren't paying
Yeah,
attention, right? So
I just find it really weird too that nobody's seen Dylan that day. There's a thing where Ashley's saying that she dropped Dylan off to her mom so she could go for a coffee with her friends and whatnot. When was the last day anyone physically seen Dylan?
May 6th, 2020, it would have been Ashley.
So Ashley was the last one that's seen.
Oh, and Jeff Parsons would have seen him on his lunch break for the grandmother's husband. So Jeff comes
Okay.
home at around lunchtime, 12 o'clock for lunch, and
Okay.
he would have seen him, and then he would have went back to work to make it for 1 o'clock. So apparently, the story is as soon as he left, the grandmother took him outside. So within 15 minutes of Jeff leaving, she loses him. Apparently,
So with the grandmother, I have a good question. So that I'm including like the house, any vehicles. So this is actually coming from one of the members of the group. So all the vehicles that were at the grandmother's house, and like basically I'm gonna add the house. Was any forensics done in any of the
no,
vehicles?
no. Then that was a big issue because what do you call it? Germany wanted mine and Ashley's DNA for something they may have found. So that was a big deal. The Truro police got Dylan's toothbrush and stuff. That was just 6, 7 months ago. So they couldn't get Dylan's DNA off anything because it's been too long. So that's another mistake. They didn't collect any DNA or nothing the day he went missing, and then when it was time that someone actually needed his DNA, they didn't have it. So another way to they rather the kid's DNA, but where they didn't have it, we gave them our blood and they sent it to Germany. So and nothing's ever been really. It's in their DNA bank down there, but nothing's been found apparently, or we would have been flagged. So
The thing that's really puzzling is like I'm just like trying to figure out the timelines because like I said, I don't know if you heard me before. I do go out a lot for missing people in my area. I'm also an outreach worker. Timelines are so important, and that's why I keep questioning it because you seen Dylan 2 days before he went missing.
on my sister's
Ash
birthday,
yeah.
yeah.
So, and then nobody seen Dylan the day that he went missing. Apparently, Ashley dropped Dylan off at mom's house to go out with her friends. And the thing that's really getting me, you were his dad. Ashley is his mother. It took them 3 hours and they didn't even notify you. You were going to get Dylan. That's how you found out your son was missing. And Ashley, their own daughter, they didn't even make a call to her or text her, even though she did have the WhatsApp app or go get her
No,
till like
actually,
3 hours into. Pardon?
it was a little over 4 hours at that point, and I had to fight the police for her father to go get her. They didn't want anyone to go get her, which I thought was pretty ignorant. But I bitched and complained enough, and they let her father go get her. And what Norman said is he drove up. He told Ashley to get into the car. Fucking emotional just thinking about the stuff. And Ashley's like, "What's going on?" And her dad's like, "Just get in the car, let's go." And they started driving, and that's when her dad was like, "Dylan's missing." And then Ashley was like, obviously broke, and basically, he's gonna be found. He's gonna be found. He's gonna be found by the time we get home. He's gonna be found. And then 4 years later, right? It's like he's gonna be found. He's gonna be found, right? But it just never happens.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so I'm just looking here. Um, so the pants, I've gotten a lot of messages about the pants that were found. Um, and I was kind of researching them. I seen
So that was me once
one
again.
article.
So there was a little bit of a story behind it, but anyway, I have a no contact order with the entire Truro police station, which is crazy. They neglected to properly search a hit in the water with Nova Scotia Canine Search and Rescue. Back in 2020, I have a video on my TikTok. The human remains dog dug in the water for like 20 minutes straight. And the way protocol is search and rescue, even though the dog's searching and digging, you can't search that area until given permission by the police. So they called it in, and the river where the hit was is tidal influence, so there's a wave that goes up and down Salmon River. And they waited till the next day to search, which is horrible. But then I'm smart, so they were doing a search for Dylan, but it was like a um, volunteer. What do you call it? It's a way for search and rescue to do it for free.
Yeah.
And anyway, I showed up there and I seen my lead investigator, Corporal Emery, at the time. And I said, "Did you search that hit in the water?" He's like, "No, I'm going right now." My first thought is, why is a police officer going to search? Because that's not their fucking job. But anyway, we follow them because I'm not stupid. And he goes to the bank, stands up, looks out in the water, gets back in his truck, and leaves. So right away, I knew. I was like, you guys didn't search. Then we went to the review board hearing against the police, hired a lawyer to fight them. And I showed them the video. I didn't show them the whole entire like video of the whole day, just the video of the hit in the water. And then before you know it, my lawyer's like, they're prepping Tom. And I was like, what do you mean they're prepping Tom? Probably to make him lie. And he's head of Colchester Search and Rescue. And then he gets up on stand and he actually says a whole different story. They say that they didn't search that hit in the water because it gave the wrong signs. It was Rifle and Kathy, and it just didn't give the right signs. But in my video, it's not Kathy and Rifle, because in the rest of my video, you can see Kathy and Rifle on the right side of the river, and I'm with a male dog handler and a dog named Jem. And so they made up this whole story that the dog didn't give the right signs. So I got really alienated. I got pissed off. And it wasn't long after that I started calling dispatch saying, "Why'd you guys lie about the hit in the water? What are you guys covering up?" I got so pissed. And they put a no contact order on me. So, they,
Yeah, I did see that.
yeah.
Yeah. Um,
So it's a very sad
so
part of Dylan's story, and I'm trying to reopen the hearing, and I'm trying to like I have a retired cop that sees that they neglected it and he was going to help me search, and it's never been searched before, and it's like now I start to wonder, what are you guys hiding? What do you not want to be found in that river? Like
mhm.
I don't get why you wouldn't search it. It was a
Yeah,
waste. It was a waste of a good opportunity. It could have been Dylan. It could have been two other people. So
yeah. And I know that at the time of him going missing, it was COVID. So, I
and
mean,
and the biggest mass shooting in Canada,
yeah,
the 23.
yeah. How long was that before Dylan went
It
missing?
was 2 weeks after the mass shooting. So at that time, I remember it was on the news that the Truro police were sending threatening emails to the Bible Hill RCMP, and the Bible Hill RCMP are just across the bridge. And I think that's why they didn't request their help at the beginning. I think there's a lot more to
Um,
that story than what people realize, right? Like, so the RCMP failed the mass shooting. It was a big corruption. Everybody followed the mass shooting. It was horrible, horrific, just a big old shit show.
yeah,
And then the Truro police, I guess, was rubbing it into them, and they weren't getting along. Anyway, it was on the news that the Truro police were sending threatening emails to the RCMP afterwards, so it's like they were obviously not getting along. So I believe that
yeah,
had a part in looking for Dylan, 100%.
yeah, I seen that. So I have a question. I don't know if you know, because I know you and Ashley aren't together. So I did watch a thing where both her mother and her had stated like they weren't talking, stuff like that. What about today? What about like 2024? Um, do you know if there's a relationship now with them, or
With the grandmother and Ashley, no, there'll never be a relationship.
so they're still not talking?
No, I can guarantee you that. Dorothy is a very, very, very horrible, horrible person. I remember she messaged Ashley once and was like, "Enjoy the life that's been handed to you." I remember her giving me the finger, putting up posters. I remember so many horrible things. Like, I remember it was the next day of Dylan's disappearance, and she literally went to Ashley and was like, "Can I take your daughter for the night?" Like, are you fucking serious right now? Like, did you actually ask that? She was
That's
very
crazy.
different the entire time. She's very different. And then, like, just to top everything off, just recently she got a bench for Dylan in Victoria Park, and she completely took our idea. So back then we couldn't get a bench for him, and I can't remember why, but I guess now you can. And she got a bench, and it's beside a park, so you can sit on the bench and watch your kids play, and it's got a little plaque for Dylan. And I thought it's nice that it's there, but she stole our idea, and it doesn't say family, it just says love the grandmother. And it was right after the boots thing was discovered with the difference in boots. So
So, do you know if the case is going to be reopened because they
it's
did
it's
now
always
that Boots?
open, so it's an open investigation. He has a lead investigator. All tips are looked into. I remember just 2 months ago he was looking into a psychic medium tip, so it's very much still active. What they do behind the scenes, I have no idea, if anything.
So, did none of the neighbors have any outside cameras or anything?
The cops didn't look into that. We did later on, and no. If you
Nobody
watch
had.
if you watch W5 News with the 36-year veteran of Halifax Major Crimes, RCMP, he has questions in the grandmother's story and the timeline. And like he said, the cops didn't canvass Queen Street. So the cops just, once again, they just didn't do their job. Like, I have an hour and a half recording of my lawyer and all points of negligence, and it's really disgusting. Like, there's
Well,
8 protocol they broke. So here's an example. It's like the cops drove around the whole day and did not look for Dylan. They were not on foot. They just they got the fire department to block off where the command post was. Like my lawyer said, why didn't they get the fire department to block off Queens or Elizabeth Street? So
mhm,
they wouldn't destroy evidence and stuff like that, right? They just didn't do anything right. If you watch W5 News, and that's just a
yeah.
little bit on that. Like, if you listen to my recording that I can't share, I call it my $6,000 recording because that's how much we paid for the lawyer on pro bono, and it's horrible, like what she found out. But they covered it up and they won. They won. The panel board members said they did everything proper, but they didn't. They just the deputy chief retired 2 weeks after my son's hearing. Lost respect of his own chief. Tom Fitzpatrick, head of Colchester Search and Rescue, told me right in front of my lawyer, so I can't even lie about it, that he lost respect of the chief too after his cross examination. He's like, first time hearing that story.
That-
There was an hour delay on putting the EMO alert out because of an address. So the chief couldn't put out the address to EMO. And it took an hour. So they were on the third hour, and it took another hour for them to give an address. And that's where I was like, if the chief didn't take control and let the IC of the search, which would have been Sergeant Hunka, do his job, there wouldn't have been all these fucking issues. But where they,
So I do have a question I want to ask you before I forget.
yeah.
I do have a member. She sent me a question. Because you're talking about like the first day. Um, So she wants to know why nobody could give, like, obviously it wouldn't be you because you hadn't seen Dylan for 2 days. So it would be mom and grandma and whoever else seen Dylan. But the question was, why was there not a proper description of Dylan given out the first, like when he went missing?
So there was to search and rescue.
Okay.
The description for like social media, the cops on like W5 News once again, the cops said he put it on all social media pages, but in fact they didn't have any posts about Dylan that entire day. So there was just really nothing. Dylan like it's Dylan didn't have a chance that day. Everybody failed so bad that it's ridiculous.
The thing too is that like they're focused so much on the water, but then you're telling me like the house wasn't forensically checked, the vehicles in the driveways weren't forensically checked. The cops did like it, I'm sorry, but it doesn't take long to turn around and tie up a dog and
No, it
turn back
doesn't. Can you
around.
just give me 1 second, please?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay, guys, I'm through most of my questions. He's just taking a break there. So if you guys want to start popping any questions up or asking anything or suggesting anything, please feel free to start popping it all up. He's just doing something. So I've gotten through all the questions from the group now. If you guys want to start making any suggestions or any questions for him before I let him go,
Yeah, I'm gonna
and
make my
whatnot,
answers. I'm gonna make my answers a lot shorter. I'm gonna stop
yeah.
rambling. It's gonna take too much time.
So I just have a question. Is there a petition or anything set up for new officers or police departments to go like redo everything?
No, I don't know if that can pull some
It
strings,
abs
but it wouldn't help.
It
It wouldn't hurt.
absolutely can be set up and done. We've done it many times. So what it is a petition can be set up. I believe it's over 1,000 signatures that we do need to get. And what it is we can put forward through like any court system where we can request for a new yes, Karen, I think I am gonna start one. So what
So
it is
you
it
could
goes
write
to a
that up.
whole different police force that hasn't been involved. They take like detectives that haven't been involved, and they literally pick through the whole case, fine, comb, whatnot. So, I mean, that's something I can certainly help you set up or I can do and you can be part of.
I
I
give you
also want to
permission.
know,
I give you permission to do it, and I'll help you through it if you need any information. I can't write something up like that. I'm horrible at writing.
it's okay. I can set it all up and do it and send it to you. And once you give me the okay, we can start getting the signatures because more signatures is better. Looks better in the court system too. I do want to say I'm really sorry for what you're going through and
It's a nightmare, you
everything.
know. It's after finding out the boots that really broke me because the cops, search and rescue, told me it was impossible to search the entire Bay of Fundy, and I searched almost the entire Bay of Fundy, like thousands and thousands of miles of rough terrain, like the Bay of Fundy, like, and there's just
Yep.
nothing right. And then I find out that they're not even his boots, so it wasn't a waste of time, but I feel like I could have been using my energy somewhere else, maybe.
Well, it seems to me like someone's put boots there to distract the police, maybe from the house or maybe from the vehicles. Like somebody's
So
obviously hiding something.
there's another part of the story. So when Dylan went missing, Ashley's father mentioned that it was very short like, so everything just started amping up. It was the evening, I think, of the first night he went missing, and he said that the grandmother, what did he say? The grandmother was talking to a medium, which I thought was crazy. It just
Yeah.
happened. And the medium said to take her puppy down to the brook and search. And she went and did that. So I've always wondered if she had had them other pair of boots with her and tossed them in. You know, I could be wrong, but is it possible?
Yep. See, the thing is too is that a lot of things don't add up. And
Nothing adds up.
I
The
know
timeline is
police,
so off, it's crazy. There is no timeline.
yep. And the thing is that um during COVID, I know what it was like. I'm a frontline worker. It was insane. So I know what it was like. You guys also had the mass shooting in that area. So there's like so much
And
to
the
take in factor.
helicopter
But
victim
this,
crash and everything was going on in Nova Scotia. It was just back to
yeah,
back to back things happening.
yeah. Um, Sorry, I'm just trying to read this comment. So there's a comment that says Ashley's the only one that didn't question the boots found in the brook, only tried to convince people the boots found were Dylan's. Now the boots are not Dylan's. So why did she say they were? She got the boots back from the police and had a good look at them and still didn't notice that they weren't his.
I can't speak for that. I'm not Ashley.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to watch the comments because
Yep.
everyone has a right to ask questions and stuff. I just people need to be respectful. So, um, yeah. So, anyways, I do think that we should start a petition and get things going with that. I won't give you my thoughts on psychic mediums. As I said, I've done many searches and not one have ever been right.
I've
I
talked to
do
hundreds
hope,
of them. I've talked to hundreds. I know how it all works.
yeah,
I don't believe in them either, but I give them a shot. I'll try
yeah,
everything once, so I'll try each medium once. And then
yeah.
that's that. It's not that I believe in them or I believe what they're saying, but I let the public try
Just
to
one
piece it
second,
together.
Jason.
So
I just want to let you guys know that's posting on the comments that Ashley actually was asked to do a live. Ashley refused. So if you want to PM me when I'm done this video, I'll be more than happy to deal with you. Please don't come on here making comments like that because you will be permanently banned from the group. But just a note for everyone, she was asked to do this, she refused. Jason was asked to do this, Jason was all for it right away.
so
Is there,
I
if
can
there is any problems
explain
or
one
concerns,
thing
you
when it
can
comes.
message me.
Not everybody is like me. So it's like the movie producers say, like the ones that are doing the documentary movie with me. I'm very much one of a kind. There's not a whole lot of people that have a fight drive like me. Everybody has their own strengths. Some people break, some people hide, some people just can't do it no more. It doesn't mean they had anything to do with it. Um, that's all I really had to say is not everybody is me. Not everybody is in the front line fighting. And until
Mhm,
you're in the situation, you have no idea what you're going to do. I mean, you can say you would do all these things like I'm doing, but could you really? You don't know until you know, right? And
mhm.
apparently, I'm one of a kind. That's what the producers say. That's what cops say. Like, I have a fight drive like no other, and not everyone can handle all that pressure and all that
The
pain.
thing is too is when you're a parent and something like this go happens, like you said, you can say you'll do this, that, this, and that. But the thing is like it's how somebody reacts. It's we don't
Exactly.
know
It
what
will
you and
break
Ashley go
you
through
like
with.
you would not believe. Like, like, I don't even know how I'm doing it. I don't know how haven't drank myself to death. I don't know how I've made it this far,
There's a
right? So,
Sarah Farr. Can you find her and block her?
so it's yeah. I have a wonderful paparazzi. There's a hate group which I don't know if a petition could get rid of that too, but they've been stalking and harassing me for 4 years straight, right from the beginning, and now they got this fucking group, and all they do is it's just disgusting what they do. It's just full of
Yeah,
rumors about me and just trying to make me look bad. Anyone that tries to help, they'll call CPS on them, and just anything to push people away from me. I've lost girlfriends through them. Like people are like,
yeah.
"Oh, how can people destroy your life on social media?" You'd be fucking surprised what they can do. You
Oh,
really would
yes.
be surprised. They'll attack
We
your
kind of,
jobs. They'll attack everything, and I'm a victim to all of it, and it's horrible.
well, the thing is, too, is people got to realize you didn't even see your son for, you seen him on the 4th. He went missing on the 6th.
Exactly.
Nobody's seen,
I wasn't even questioned by the police because I was on the phone with victim services counselor for over 2 hours at the time of my son's disappearance. It's
mhm.
impossible. I'm on a landline at my mom's house. And me, my mom, and my sister went to go get them together. So, we didn't know.
Yeah. Sarah and Charlotte, I just want to stress nobody's saying anybody's guilty on this live. We're asking questions to a father that
I don't think
his son
Ashley
is
is guilty
missing.
whatsoever. That's my opinion. Ashley is not guilty whatsoever. The grandmother, me and her both wanted to press charges on her. Me and her both know that there's a piece to the story she's holding off on.
Yeah.
We both agree
Yeah.
to that, 100%. So,
Yeah. Okay, well, I do want to thank you for coming up. I am going to work on the petition and get it going for you. I can also get it court stamped and whatnot. But I do want to thank you for coming on. I know that it's probably been.
Did you find out where the boots were purchased and investigate the store and see who purchased them? Because usually have cameras on there. And if somebody purchased a second pair of boots and planted them.
So my husband's just wondering, like the boots, was it ever distinguished like where they were bought?
yes. So here's another crazy story. So they were purchased at Walmart, and I don't know why the police would go off a family member's word. They should have investigated, made sure they were his boots 100% off the grandmother's receipt. So now that the boots aren't Dylan's, they actually went to Walmart and they investigated, and Walmart gets rid of all inventory receipts, everything after 2 years. So that was a dead end for them. And something about a photographer, they were getting to take pictures of Dylan's boots to compare to the ones that were in that video. And that's all I know of. That's the only updates I got from the whole boot change. So
Okay.
they're looking into it, but I don't know how much they're looking into it. They already failed everything else, so I don't have faith in them
Yeah.
whatsoever. So, but yeah, yeah, I wish they just had Walmart is where they were bought from.
So I just have a lady asking, she says, please ask why it is stated by Jason that Ashley was seen grabbing a pair of boots when she went to get Dylan's blanket.
Um, I have no idea. That's the first time hearing that. So, what?
Okay.
So they were there the day Dylan went missing, and she physically seen Ashley grab the blanket for the dog. Because
I'm not
that dog wasn't even supposed to be there. That dog was what's his name? Anyway, he was charged with interfering with an investigation. The cops appraised him first, but then charged him for interfering with an investigation. He had his hunting dog there and wasn't trained for anything, and he was carrying Dylan's blanket through the woods, contaminating everything. So you're carrying a fucking blanket with Dylan's scent, but you're also walking through the woods with his scent going everywhere. So how just destroyed the scene basically.
Yep. Yep. Anne
Uh,
Marie, they were never fingerprinted or checked for DNA. I already asked that.
they were
Yep.
fingerprinted through a retired cop, and
Oh,
nothing was on them. The
okay.
cops wouldn't do it, so we got a retired cop, and his son's a cop, so it takes all of 10 minutes to fingerprint. So he's like, "We'll do it for you." I don't know why the Truro police would not do it for you. At least, if
Was
anything, to
that
give you
the
some closure on the boots or a peace of
was that
mind.
the first pair that was found or
Well, the second
like
pair hasn't been found, so that's
sorry.
impossible.
Yeah, so that's the pair that now we all now know wasn't Dylan's boots,
Yeah,
right?
yes, those were fingerprinted, and there's nothing on them.
Why are they there?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, I will let you go. I won't hold you up any longer. Maybe we'll do this in a couple more weeks or something. We need to really keep Dylan's name out there and keep this going.
Especially
Um,
now than more now than ever because the boots aren't his. So where's his boots? Where's Dylan? Like where did he go?
when we get off the live, can you message me who's like the head person? Like, say if I had information and I want to call, like who can? Because I have
Sergeant
some
Hunka.
questions.
Sergeant Hunka, like
Pardon,
the Truro Police. Sergeant Hunka.
Sergeant Honka.
Yeah, I'll
Just
send
because
you
my
his
job
email.
title.
I'll send you his email.
Okay.
I'll send you his
Okay.
email.
Also, a lot of people on here are asking what your YouTube is. So if you want to share that.
So if you go to Google, or not Google, YouTube, sorry, and just
How about whenever we're done, you post the link underneath so everyone can just click on it?
I'll do that, but you can just go to YouTube and type in my name, Jason Ehler, Ehler, and it's gonna pop right up. But it's D.E.D with a blue and green heart, and that stands for Dylan Ehler's dad. But I'll share it in the
Awesome.
link below. So
Okay. Well, thanks for your time. I hope things get better for you. And if you need anything, just give a reach out, okay?
sounds good, and I recommend everyone going on my YouTube. There's a lot of interesting things, a lot of searches. You guys will see my fight and how hard I've worked at fighting for him. And let's bring Dylan home, everyone. Thank you so much. Take care,
Thank
everybody.
you.